Hey team, how you all going? Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. I just did this recording for you guys last night because obviously today all your vice presidents are down in Sydney. So I know you have this window cleared, so I wanted to give you something that you could listen to in this time. And remember the other day on Sunday, and I said to you guys, I've got an amazing video I'm going to share with you on Monday about something awesome that happened to me on Saturday. Well, basically, I thought I would just record it and keep it and show you guys it on Wednesday for our weekly webinar, because our Wednesday webinar, because I loved it so much and I got so much out of it. So I'm going to, share all that with you guys now. It is so, so cool, and my mind was completely blown. So I hope you guys get the same that I got from it. But basically, just sculled a big glass of milk. But yeah, basically, I went to a property investing seminar on Saturday because my husband and I are looking at buying our next property. So we went and checked that out just to make sure we're doing everything right, and it was nothing at all of what I was expecting. The first little bit of the day was numbers and statistics and areas, and then the next part of the day, Michael Yardney is his name. He's this man here. He's Australia's leading, He's Australia's best property investment advisor. He got voted Australia's best property investment advisor, and he's our best-selling author in Australia as well. He's an expert in wealth creation through property. So he knows his stuff. He's a multimillionaire, very, very good at what he does. And I was just expecting him to learn numbers and everything about property, and what I got was completely different. So he come through after lunch. We come back in and sat down, and it was Michael Yardney's turn to talk. And I'll just show you really quickly the video he started on. So I'll get that in there so that it's nice and clear. I found this so interesting.
Hello friends, I wanted to make this video to hopefully inspire you to do something that you didn't think was possible, like I'm going to do with this board here. And what you need to do is to set up something you want to do, make a plan, go through with it, and then what you have to do is make a plan of action, follow through with it. You're going to believe in yourself. That's first, isn't it? Believe in yourself, formulate a plan of action, and follow through with it. What you have to do is believe in yourself, make a plan of action, and follow through with it. And if you believe you can do something, then you can. Like I can do with this board. Oh. Didn't believe in myself enough. Try again. Apparently I don't believe in myself as much.
So that's a bit interesting, isn't it? I was sitting there and I was like, where is he going with this? Like, I'm here to learn about property, and this guy is basically bashing himself in the head with a piece of wood. But I got the message of that so much. I found it the most clever video I've ever seen. I was taken by that. I just was infatuated with it, actually, just to see, you know, you can't explain that video. That explains itself and how belief works. You know, it's one thing to believe, but it's another. You don't get paid on your beliefs. You get paid on how you implement your beliefs. So that video says it all, right? Like, you know, yeah, I can't even explain it. It's too hard. You understand what I mean, but so knowledge alone doesn't change behavior. But I will tell you what does, and this isn't some motivational, inspiring thing. This is what he said when he opened up. He's a very to the point kind of man, very tough love, says it like it is. And he said a few times throughout it, I'm not just trying to motivate and inspire you guys. This is just how it is. You know, and I just was, you know, coming from our Arbonne world, it's always so nicely put and it's so inspiring and motivating and lovely to hear. Whereas he was like, boom, baby, this is how it works. And, you know, showing that video and that was kind of like, boom, you know, and I got it. It was a massive amount of light bulb moments that come to me that day. He said his favourite all-time mentor is Jim Rohn, which is amazing. Again, he's also my favourite, and he was a network marketer as well, so that's really cool. Follow him on Facebook if you don't already, because he's brilliant. And he also said the life-changing moment for him was when he went to the Landmark Forum. So I'm like leaning further and further and further in from my chair by this point. He had me completely captivated. The Landmark Forum is what Cass went to in Brisbane and said it completely changed her life. She absolutely loved it, and she got recommended to that from Carrie Burke. So that's very, very impressive. I cannot wait to go and check out this Landmark. It's on again in May, and a lot of us are going. So if you want to know anything more about that, let me know. More than welcome to help you all get there and things like that. Okay, so for those stuck and need to get to the next level, what steps do most people take? What's the turning point? Okay, so he was like geeing us up for what he's about to tell us, kind of. He's telling us that he's going to tell us the turning point. Most people say, when I have property, I'll be wealthy. When I have lots of dollars, then I will donate. Like I hear in Arbonne, when I get the car, I'm going to ask that person because she's kind of on my chicken list. Okay? And it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't. If anything, it actually pushes our dreams even further away. So he spoke about becoming magnetic and having an abundance and wealth. Having an abundance and wealth mindset and an attitude of gratitude is the secret to success. I was just listening going, everything we learn, and I'm starting to realize by this point that this isn't just for Arbonne and network marketing, this is for success. And the successful people in this business are getting there because they're mastering this. The successful people in property investing are getting there because they're mastering this. Will Smith, he talks about this stuff all the time. He's a very successful actor because he mastered this. You know, isn't that amazing? That's Robert Kiyosaki is fantastic at starting up companies. And he got there from mastering this. So take everything back sometimes and remember what is the most important thing to master, because was my big light bulb moment that I had on Saturday. Was I realized everything I owe my success to is this, is you, is understanding your thoughts and controlling that. So you want more wealth. It has nothing to do with dollars, okay? It has nothing to do with dollars at all. It's about your spirituality. You know, I'm not saying that I'm religious or you're religious, but it's about your spirituality. It's about growth, time, health, freedom, and being able to give back. That is wealth. Wealth is not dollars, okay? Your income, your investments, your net worth, your residual income, things like that, that's your dollars. Your wealth, to me, is time with my family, them things on that list, health, things like that. To get there, you need a different mindset. Don't want to be a millionaire. Enjoy your wealth and be a multimillionaire, okay, because you'll become magnetic. Question, who believes you have a future waiting and who believes it's fixed? So do you believe that your future's fixed? That's, you know, he paused on that for a minute. Have a think about that. Your future is fluid. You create it by what you're doing and what you're thinking is creating the future. You are 100% responsible for your life and 100% responsible for your future. Okay, people who blame other people and have excuses and lean on other things will always be that same person in that same spot. People who take ownership and move forward and push through are the ones that get to the other end, are the ones that, like Sheila Green said, they get picked up in the storm and put down where they need to be, where they were meant to be. Okay, so create that. Understand that. You already made a decision to be here today to create your future. So, you know, for you guys tonight, you've already cleared your schedule for half an hour, or wherever you are when you watch this video, you've cleared your schedule for half an hour to sit down and watch this to better your future. So well done. So now you need to implement what you learned from this and go and start to create it. Your choices are subconscious. He went on to talk about the subconscious mind, which is something we talk about all the time, which goes back to we need to control our thoughts because our subconscious mind makes more decisions than our conscious mind does. Okay, so Google that and watch some videos about that. There's so many fantastic videos. I post them regularly. Check them out. Cass posts them in iDesign as well. They are really great videos, and you need to understand how your subconscious mind works so that you can control it, because it has everything to do with your success in any industry. Nothing will work unless you put it into place. That is the difference between those who make it and those who don't. You have a financial thermostat, and it was set when you're a child. So he said here, and I found this part really interesting, what did your folks say about the millionaires? You know, if you're sitting around the kitchen table and you're talking about Johnny, who lived a couple of streets over or whatever in the big mansion, and Johnny had everything he ever wanted, he was the richest kid at school, what did your parents often have to say about his parents? And he was like actually asking people were saying from the audience the things that their parents said, and some were saying they think they're better than everybody else. Another person said they were really lucky people and they found and come across this, or, you know, these sort of comments. And that's the sort of stuff that starts to get conditioned into our brains, and like it almost sets roots down into our brains that controls the way we think and sets our financial thermostat, which makes perfect sense. And he goes, so have a think about what your financial thermostat is set at right now. And it's actually, he said to me, I'll tell you what it's set at. It's set at what's in your bank today. That's what it's set at. As you grow and grow your belief and your vision, your thermostat will grow, you know, and you'll start to expect more money, and it gets bigger. So true. So what's that? You can have more because you can become more. So, for example, if you took all the money in the world and distributed it evenly between everybody, it would end up back in the same people's pockets. So true. And he went on to do a graph. So this was just a little bit more about money and managing your finances, which I love to know about that, because I'm definitely somebody who needs to learn about that. I'm a bit of an emotional buyer. But he was, you know, explaining how the graph basically went like this. 2 lines, you know, 1 line here and 1 line here, and it kind of went up and then across and then up and then across. And the line in between here was your net worth. And he was explaining that the average person, as they earn more, their income becomes more and their expenditures become more. So their net worth actually stays exactly the same. The average person, the more they make, the more they spend. They don't actually become any wealthier. They don't become any richer. They don't get any more money in the bank. They don't become any happier in their lives or any happier in their homes, and don't make the people's lives around them any happier. They still don't give to charity. They still don't make a difference in the world. They still have excuses and things. They've just had promotions and things along the way, and different opportunities come up. And it just made so much sense to me when he outlaid that, you know, to be smart with your money and understand when you're going up, if you're taking on expenditures and expenses that you don't need to take on. Anyway, we won't talk about money, but he did a bit of a section on that, which was really great. But then he went on to say, don't sabotage yourself. And he was saying he met this guy the other day, and he was 50 and he wanted to buy property. And he said to Michael, it's so hard. 50-year-olds just cannot get jobs. And he turned to the room and said, who in here is 50 with a job? And so many people put their hands up. And he said, see that conditioning of that thinking? Like, he's just talked himself into that. He hasn't even tried to get a job. And he asked him if he put it anywhere. And he's like, he's only a 50-year-old job. I'm not going to get a job. He's like, stop sabotaging yourself. You know, go and get a job. You can do it. Go find something that you can learn in and better yourself to get that job. So, you know, this made me think, when conferences and things come up, don't sabotage yourself by not going. You are literally sabotaging yourself. Go. When DAs are in your area, don't sabotage yourself in not going. Go. You're going to better yourself. You're going to better your future. You're going to get so much from that. You're going to grow as a person, and your family and friends are going to see that. He then had like a graph thing up of average person and a rich person. And he said, I'm not trying to offend anybody here. I'm just saying the stats and the statistics and how it is, you know, how it works. And he was saying, you know, the average person gets lost in detail where the big person looks at the big picture. And it's so true, you know, and you would have all heard in the business, sometimes little bits of detail people get stuck on, and they stop that. They let that stop them from moving forward in the business. They're not even looking at the big picture. They're too busy stuck at this tiny little detail. You know, like, look at the big picture. The average person thinks cash flow, where the rich person thinks equity and residual income. The average person trades time for dollars. The rich person makes the dollars work for them. The average person builds their cash flow. The rich person builds their residual income and equity. The average person spends their cash flow, while the rich person spends their equity and residual income. The average person thinks small, the rich person thinks big. The average person plays to lose opposed to playing to win. The average person, life happens to them. The rich person believes they control their life. The average person justifies where the rich person understands. The average person has low self-esteem opposed to having high self-esteem. And remember, high self-esteem, that's a skill. That's something that you can learn. It's not something we're born with, okay? You can learn how to have that. The average person thinks failure is bad. The rich person knows failure means you're trying and it's a choice. The average person knows it already. Rich person still asking questions. The average is kind of either or, rich is both. How true is that? Just a quick summary of that. So just model what the rich do. Take them habits on and make them your own habits. Remember, we don't get paid on what we know, but what we do, okay, which goes back to the man in the board. We don't get paid on what we know, we get paid on what we do. We get paid on what we implement of what we know. Okay, you can go and learn everything and do everything, but if you're not applying that and actually doing anything with it, you're not going to be paid. Okay, so learn all this and do all this to increase your net worth. Better to aim high than to aim low and get it. So how do you do it? This is where I explained thoughts lead to feelings and feelings lead to actions and actions equal results. And this is your arena of dollars. Had a little drawing of an arena. So what did your parents teach you, or, outsiders and things like that teach you that's still in your arena that you need to get out of your arena, basically? So I love how it starts at thoughts. You need to control this first. That's going to lead you to where you go. It's going to motivate you. It's going to drive you. It's going to control what you do. If your subconscious mind's still in control and you're still saturated with negative and thoughts of not being able to do it, and you can't even see it in your vision, you're never going to get to it. Okay, so have a look at your arena and see what's in there. We all have deeply rooted conditioning without fixing it. What? We all have deeply rooted conditioning, and without fixing it, logic doesn't work. The subconscious mind takes over. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So true. If your motivation comes from fear, anger, or proving it to anyone, money will not bring you happiness. Oh, excuse me. What did you see, and how has it affected? What did you see when you were young, and how has it affected you today? Okay, so this is going back to your conditioning, because you really need to have a great understanding of that. This man just blew my mind. I just thought it was so great to hear all this. My hand was just going wild with notes through the entire thing. So just think about that for a moment. Make a list of what's important to you and number it from 1 to 10. This is a bit sad. Number it from 1 to 10 of what's most important. The sad fact is most people lose all their 8, 9, and 10s. They just lose them to excuses, to whatever it is. Most people say they want it, but they get home and life gets in the way and they don't go for it. So, write that list and see what's on there and see what's non-negotiable to you, and know that you don't have to get rid of that. You can have it. What's your blueprint set for? Who agrees the rich get richer? And they do because they plan to. So true. So it's that simple. The only way to change your life of finance is to permanently change your fortune thermostat, which is what we spoke about earlier. You're in the habit of everything your subconscious mind wants. So if your subconscious mind is still stuck on just enough money to pay the essential bills that you have to have and a little bit of freedom afterwards, and you're okay with that, so I'll just do Arbonne next month because, everything's still okay. Your thermostat will stay there. Okay, when you increase your thermostat, that's the only time it's going to go up, is then. And it's in here. So you need to control that subconscious mind. So how are you doing? I want you to have a look at your business. Not just your business, your life, your family, your friends, your kids, your time, your general happiness. And ask yourself, how are you doing? Are you where you wanted to be? Are you on the way to where you want to be? Are you setting goals for where you want to be? Or is life getting in the way? How are you doing? What's the problem? Why aren't you where you want to be? Don't worry what anybody else is doing. Have a look and see what is your net worth. The more the average earns, the more the average spends. So 1, recognize there is a problem. Don't drive with one foot on the accelerator and 1 foot on the brake. So true, you're not going to really get very far doing that. 2, remove the disempowering beliefs. And 3, replace the beliefs. And this is not as easy as breaking the board on your head, okay, to replace them beliefs. This is something you need to work on every day. Most people don't do what they know they should do. We catch others lying to us, but not us lying to us. How true is that? And then he spoke about Think and Grow Rich, which is this book here. It's actually one of the very first books I bought when I started my business, and I really recommend it to you guys. It's an amazing book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Oh, so many people recommend this book all the time. When he recommended it, I just smiled in my chair and I was like, oh, this guy's so into it. But he said the 7 characteristics you must have. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through a couple, but I'd really recommend getting this book and checking it out because it will blow your mind. And guess what? You're not born with these 17 characteristics. They're all something you create when you go to work on yourself. Number 1 is a burning desire. Do you have that? You know, you have to have a burning desire. You're not going to get there without having that. And most people say they do. And he actually said to the crowd, who has a burning desire? And everyone's hands went up. And he goes, yeah, we'll see. And I was like, oh, that's a bit of a confident thing to say. And then he said, so many people put their hands up for this, but then they go home and life gets in the way. So true. So true. Specialize over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Don't diversify. Read more and become an expert at this. There's a system in Arbonne. Just become an expert at that. Don't diversify and get off course. Just concentrate on the system. Listen to more audios. Read more books. Go to work on you. I love how Jim Rohn says, don't go to work on your job. Go to work on you. If you go to work on your job, you'll have a cash flow. If you go to work on you, you'll have a fortune. So true. The size of your life is decided by the size of the problems you solve. I just was like, I know this down. That's so true. The size of your life is decided by the size of the problems you solve. What problems do you just step over and slip under the rug? And we all do it. You know, I'm not saying any of this, like I don't do any of this. I got so much out of this because it was like, oh yes, that's me. I know where I need to go. I know what I need to fix. Going to these things is the only reason, and reading these books and attending everything that I can is exactly why I'm where I am today. It's from all of this stuff, taking responsibility for my life. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job, which is what I just said. I'm just reading it straight off the paper. There's 3 types of knowledge. 1, the stuff you know. 2, the stuff you want to know. And 3, the stuff you don't know you don't know. Do that. And I come across that stuff every day. So there's 3 walls that are going to stop you and test your commitment. Wall number 1 is the wall of knowledge. And it's the knowledge that you only get from experience. Okay, it's not necessarily knowledge you're going to get in these books. It's knowledge you're going to get from getting out there and doing the do. That comes with, when you do that, more knowledge comes in from reading these books. Okay, that is the ultimate. It's the number 1 most important thing. Number 2 is confidence. And like I said earlier, it's a skill. You can learn it. And it is so important. Number 3 is money. And I love Jim Rohn's quote as well. And he said, he didn't say it at the seminar, so I'm trying to remember it off my head. He said, money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. And it's true. And we can all admit that when we first initially joined this business, we did it for some extra cash flow. That's why we started Arbonne. We wanted some extra money. We grew as people and grew to new levels that we didn't even know existed. And the reason we were in Arbonne started to change from money. But initially, we all want money. We all want that financial freedom. Okay, we all want that lifestyle that comes from having money. It makes your marriage life easier. It makes raising children easier. Everything becomes easier when you have money. But if you have a lot of money but you don't know how to use it and you're not a good person and you're not growing yourself every day, you're not going to be smart with your money and it's not going to give you that wealthy lifestyle anyway. You know what I mean? Money's not going to make you happy there. But if you're doing this and you know what to do, you will attract that fortune. You'll have this magnetic force about you and you'll create a wealthy, time and financial free lifestyle. Learn about your mind and personal development every day. All at once won't work. It's like sipping from a fire hose. I like that. Guess what? You have to be the best on your team. It's just, you have to. And that's what he said. He's talking about team of investors and financial advisors and things like that. He was always committed to being the best on his team. I am always committed to being the best on my team so that I can lead you guys on how to do it. A great leader doesn't tell you what to do. They show you how it's done. Okay, so commit to being that leader. So, yeah, as I was saying, my mind-blowing conclusion I had on Sunday was where my success comes from. And obviously, going to work on your craft and knowing what you're doing, going to work on your business and doing it over and over and over again, getting that knowledge from the experience, then bringing it in from this that builds your confidence and things like that from your books. Growing on you and your personal development, I never realized how much every other industry grows on this. You know, a lot of you guys might have already, but for me, I didn't realize that. I thought this was like a network marketing thing to be a great people person. And, you know, the more I did it, the more I wanted to be a great people person. And it started to come naturally to me because I generally love to help people and I love to have people in my life and communicate every day. I very much enjoy that. But then I realized after going to this, that it's the crucial number one thing for success in anything, because it's the crucial number one thing to have in your life, to have wealth. And I'm not talking financial wealth, I'm talking happiness wealth. It's so important. So I cannot encourage you guys enough. I hope so much you took something from this. There's a great book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield, and there's another great book, The Slight Edge, by Jeff Olson, and this one, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. Start to go to work on you, start to learn these things and how this works, and watch your business flourish. The new iDesign system is fantastic. Please make sure you have tiles 1 to 7 in your head so that you know what to do and you know where to send your team to know what to do. I've had a few phone calls and that this month just with people a bit concerned about their team members' personal QV, and I've had people come to me and say, Denny, how do I word this? I really want this month. It's going to happen for me this month. My goal is huge and I'm not backing down. It's going to happen. And their personal QB is still 0 at the end of the month. Now, I love everyone where they're at. I'm not saying it like that at all. But what I'm saying is for you, if you want to do it, you need to get out and do your PQB. And when you do your PQB, your team will do their PQB. Don't not do your PQB and then expect your team to do their PQB. And I remember not that long ago, I was having a conversation with Kel and I said, my central district had fallen a bit. Everyone's promoted out of my central district now. It's just me in there. So I'm starting to build it all over again. I've promoted out so many beautiful district managers and I need to start my business again and start re-promoting them again. And I said to Kel, I feel like I'm just so busy and I'm trying to get my personal district back up again and trying to get it all happening. And she's like, okay, take a step back and have a look at exactly what you're doing. And I realized I'm so busy, you know, and I love it. I love helping you guys so much, but I've been so busy in that, doing my coaching calls and helping everybody and setting up things for everybody and thinking about Arbonne and what I'm going to do, that I haven't actually been in my personal QV. And like, I'm a vice president. It happens that easily, okay? You can slip into that. I love that video Jared posted not that long ago about IPA and NAPA, the income producing activity and the non-income producing activity. I was a bit stuck in the non-income producing activity. I'd slipped over to the dark side, you could say. And it is so easy to do that, especially coming out of that time of year and things like that. We don't even realize we're slipping there. So really encourage you to step back and take a look at your activity. Make sure you're not too much in everybody else's business and just focus on yours and your personal QV and your central district. That is the most crucial, most important part of your business. If you concentrate on that, I can guarantee you your business will flourish. It will grow into the multi-millions, according to Heidi Niss. That was one of her tips at AAC on the Gold Coast. So really encourage you guys to do that. That's leading by example. And that's what we're getting our awards for in Vegas, is just leading by example. We're not telling you what to do. We're showing you how to do it. We're out there doing it constantly, okay? So be that leader that does that. If you say you want to do something and you want to have it, go and do it. Be a person of your word, okay? People might not believe what you say, but they'll believe what you do. And if you do it and your team is seeing you do it, you watch them do it. It's like magic how it works. It's insane. I love how Jim Rohn said, getting people to work together sometimes is like trying to herd cats. You don't get it. And herding cats is hard, you know, they're not cheap. But when you can do it and get it happening, it's like magic. And it's so true. So lead by example, and that's going to be the magic wand that helps you herd your cats, if that makes sense. Hope it does. But yeah, hope you guys have a great Wednesday night. I'm sure you've had an awesome day. You might sneak in and watch this a bit earlier today. Totally fine, just as long as you watch it. And I hope you take so much from it. I got so much from that on Saturday. So I hope it did the same for you guys. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you all soon. Mwah.